Language notes. Long-term memory. As the days progress and you find yourself having to manage an ever-increasing number of words, the moment when you look at a list and completely blank out will quickly manifest itself. Now, before you throw your textbook or booklet across the room in utter frustration, just work through the list 5 times. Odds are that after 2 or 3 times, you will once again have command of these words. So, what's happening? All this information is being transferred from short-term to long-term memory. Worst case scenario? When all is said and done, you'll have to review these words a couple of times a year. Remember, we're talking about information you expect to need. How long should this be kept up? The best number I've come across so far? 2 years. The actual formula was 2 hours a day for 2 years. This is the amount of time you're supposed to dedicate to learning a new language. Right. Sounds like the only thing this person has ever had to manage was a homework schedule. But what about real grown-up people with lives and work and family? The 2 hours a day component is ridiculous, unless you average it out over the long run. Starting out, forget about it. Once you've been at it for a while, if you've made this a serious priority, you'll have a lot to work with. Once the mechanics become second nature, you might be tempted to add on a lot of extras. Fight this temptation. Drills may be boring, but they work. Instead of a lot of extras, try increasing the amount of lists you're reviewing per session. So, if you've gotten to the point where you're going through 1 list per session, and you're sneaking in sessions throughout the day, try increasing it to 2 lists. There may come a point when you can get through 3 lists during 1 session without feeling overwhelmed. You see where this is going? If you get to the point where you're averaging 14 hours a week within a 2-year period, the person that came up with this 2 hours a day for 2 years was being very conservative with her estimation. If you've made this a serious priority, in 2 years you can safely assume that you've crossed that noob threshold. Even if your language skills get rusty, you're beyond the point of ever having to start from scratch. Okay, I've mentioned my worst case scenario. What's my best case scenario at this point? The best case scenario, I'll be in full command of these vocabulary words within 3 months. I'll be well versed in all the information provided in the material I'm currently working through within 6 months. One of the 15 methods used by Keith O'Hare in his How to Practice Speaking English Alone 15 Easy Tips video will be effective enough for me to thoroughly apply this information on an ongoing basis. Within 2 years, I will be able to function with ease in everyday situations in my target language. Otherwise, I'll just muddle through as best I can, reviewing and adapting my vocabulary list as I go.